recording. Recording should now be going. Switch us over to this screen. All right, well, welcome back, guys. This is our 29th session of Ophion. I just have some very quick shout outs because apparently that's what you do as a streamer. I did want to say thank you to Dead Shizno and McGinnon for subscribing. But other than that, the only sort of announcement I have is in relation to the 17th. Again, if you are unaware or if you are interested in 40k RPGs at all, I will be running a free RPG Day module with both Captain Skull here and Beckett and Murthrin. It'll be streamed at about 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll make tweets about it. Come hang out if you're interested. And if not, hey, Other than that, I don't think we have any other announcements. And if nobody does, let's jump into the captain's log.
Captain's log, stardate 56000.0. The Ophion has been stationed at Starbase 214 for the last week, where Beta Section has undergone significant repairs following our final encounter with the Tholians. Estimates are at least 1 month, maybe 2 before it can be fully repaired, and that's even before we can test multi-vector assault mode and integrating the ship's systems. Until that point, the crew is following Admiral Soko's orders requiring shore leave. It's not so relaxing for the senior staff, though. Murthrin is seeing repairs, and the rest of us are undergoing a thorough debrief of our time in Tholian space. We inadvertently gained more intel on the Tholians than Starfleet intelligence has in the last decade. The Chanel species are also in station keeping and undergoing the immigration process. Thankfully, even Starfleet bureaucracy pauses for New Year's. We are approaching 2379, and I and my senior staff will be celebrating it in the local bar, watching the holoball drop at the Palais de Concorde on Earth. End log.
All right. So I'm just going to point this out before I switch screens here. So when I say let me just read this bit. So just as the captain said, all of you are currently in Starbase 214's premier bar and club. It goes by the name of SRAKU, SRAKU. It is run by a Ryzian, and he achieved or gained permission to use one of these sort of like struts here as an entire club. So this entire thing here is SRAKU's. And let me transition you over to the interior of his club. So SRAKU has done a tremendous job with the space. The upper outer walls are covered in screens and holo emitters that show programs of all varieties. The most popular of which seems to be a competitive tournament of Parisi squares that is currently going on in the holodecks. The main floor itself is an open space packed with people, and there are tables strewn throughout. There are multiple bars lining the exterior, and as you can probably guess, there is some sort of light club music playing, over the speakers. Not loud enough that you can't hear one another, but enough to at least provide some ambiance. It's also worth noting that you're seeing species of all sorts, and even a few you've never seen before. And in the middle of SRAKU's is a raised dance floor surrounding a column of hollow light. Normally, this column mimics a warp core and, does, the up and down lights or the swirling lights a la Voyager. But tonight it's showing a hollow representation of the New Year's ball dropping back on Earth. And everyone in the club begins counting down from 10. And you guys have literally 10 seconds to do whatever before the ball drops.
Go ahead.
I'm basically going to find at least one of the senior officers nearby and I've had several to drink and I'm quite tipsy.
Maddox hands him another shot. We'll keep going.
Well, thanks, Maddox. For once, drinking on duty is allowed. And I'll just slap him on the shoulder and toast him and start counting down.
I'm just standing at the table with my hands behind my back.
If Maddox doesn't do it, I will. I will very drunkenly slap Panek on the back kind of hard,
Uh,
and tell him to lighten up. It's a celebration.
I'll just look at him and I lighten up. My mask will remain the same, Commander.
That's not in any way, shape, or form what I was talking about.
That's where you're wrong, Mr. Vulcan. He wasn't talking about your mask. He was talking about your, oh, what's it called? You seem sour. You need to get into a better mood. So whenever you're smiling, you're beaming. So you lit up. That
Sour?
stuff. Yeah. You're.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Maddox. I bet we could get him to lighten up if we took that stick out of his ass.
What colorful human idioms these are.
I'm sure I could locate the stick with a transporter beam and space it.
And
Captain, do we have permission to remove Pinec's stick?
and Beckett is like pointing at Locke and pointing at his nose too, like he got it right on the nose. Yes, sight to sight, Captain. Please tell us we have permission to sight this.
You're off duty, and I don't think I'll remember anything tomorrow.
and it is literally at that point that the countdown goes 2, 1, Happy New Year, and the whole club erupts into raucous cheers and celebration type noises. At the same time, up on the dance floor, the beat drops, and those dancing are kind of given renewed vigor. And before anyone asks, no, it's not Sandstorm. It is Supernova. You should look it up if you've never heard Supernova before.
And as like, I can never pronounce the song right. Is it Laissez-Faire? Laissez-Vaughn?
Old Lang Syne.
Old Lang
Yes,
Syne, yes.
Old Lang Syne starts. Beckett will hold up his bottle of Votus Cherry Blossom Ale that he just got done making, and everybody, glasses up
Hey.
to another year aboard the Ophion. May we not run into the Tholians ever again, and may we keep the ship relatively in one piece.
Within design specifications. Another year as a good crew.
All right, so you guys you chink your glasses, you take a swig, and at this point, one of the waitresses, another Rysian by the name of Gessie, she just kind of comes up and says, "Oh, you boys look like you're having fun. Can I get anybody a refill? Refill, anyone?
I'll take another Pilsner, please.
Pilsner it is."
Not entirely sure what this blue drink is that Maddox gave me, but it goes down nice. I'll take a half pint.
She stares at it and says, "That would be Andorian whiskey. We usually serve it as shots."
Okay, 3 shots. Make sure it's as cold as Andor.
You got it. Anyone else?
Let me just get a bottle of the whiskey.
Sure, I can make that happen.
And
then-
I'll turn the label of my bottle to her, and the bartenders have some more of these back there that are mine. Just bring me out a couple of them, please.
Understood.
I'm also going to slip a small, whatever we use for money on this strip of latinum, probably somewhere slightly unmentionable, and say, the commander over there would probably take a Vulcan spice tea. Make sure it's not a virgin.
Rather, Captain, as the chronological event has passed, I will take my leave, check on the beta section, and then return to my quarters. Then I'll hand her my glass,
If you wish.
and I'll nod to the rest of the senior staff and then depart.
As he leaves, Beckett will kind of slap the money that the captain put down away. No. Now that we actually got back to Federation space, I got my payment from Quark, so everything tonight's on me.
Awfully kind of you, Commander. And I look at Tuvok, or not Tuvok, Pinette.
Wow.
Captain's been
I look
drinking in real life.
I look at Pinette's departing form and go, just toast to his departing figure. Pinette's a hell of an officer. Not a good drinking buddy, but a hell of an officer.
Well, no one likes to be the designated shuttle pilot, sir.
That's why we have transporters.
And junior grade ensigns.
And that's why we don't let the transporter chiefs drink on duty.
Oh, I have stories of that from the academy days. Very bad. Beaming while drunk. You end up on one transporter pad, your clothing ends up on another.
Ah,
And
the good stories.
instead of them considering space as the thing moving, they consider themselves the thing moving.
Well, after a few drinks, I've heard lots of people comment that space does seem to be moving very circularly.
Beckett's just kind of like a lollying type nod, not saying anything with his eyes closed.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess my question becomes, I guess, how drunk are you each going to get? And at what point would you, I guess, leave the club, if at all?
Are we talking about leaving willingly or?
Well, I mean, it's a 24/7, well, 26/7 club, so technically you could, pitch a tent and live here.
As long as we keep paying, what's his name? Sarka?
Saraku, SR,
Saraku.
I'll put it in chat.
As long as we keep paying Saraku residency fees.
Well, I mean, if Gessie comes back around, the captain will be pitching a tent.
We'll leave you guessy.
Oh, God.
Speaking of pitching tins, Locke, how's training going with Shatsu?
Well, good.
As he says that, Beckett just kind of like tinks the top of his bottle to whatever Maddox drinking, like in a. I'm glad somebody brought it up.
I think we're training well. I think my phaser skills have definitely improved. I'm not really sure what else there is to say.
So right then,
Phrasing.
there is a call from Shatsu, and it's she says, Shatsu, to Lieutenant Locke.
Locke just kind of
Oh,
goes bluer and clicks his comeback. Locke here.
I was thinking about our training sessions. I'd like to take things to the next level at your earliest convenience.
Maddox reaches over and takes the comm badge. Shatsu, you have my permission. And then just kind of gives it back to Locke.
Was
You mean difficulty level?
Yes. What else would I mean? Was that Matic?
Yes, we're celebrating the apparently a new year, even though I don't think the system has the same calendar as Earth's.
Right. Just let me know when you're interested in doing the next level. And then the comm badge goes quiet.
Give him an hour.
oh, Maddox, should I follow up on this? I mean, I am the chief. Oh, yeah, we're doing it. And Beckett hits his comm badge. Commander Beckett to Lieutenant Shatsu.
Shatsu here, sir. What can I do for you?
I just want to tell you to just take it easy on the young man. I don't want any injuries or soreness, rashes, anything of that nature. Yeah, back it out. And then he'll hit his comm badge again. And then immediately just start giggling.
Somewhere Shatsu is very confused and wondering if the senior staff is playing a drunk prank on her.
Entirely possible. I'm just going to look at Beckett and say, do you approve a command change where Locke reports to Shatsu now? I don't recall seeing that.
Captain, that is the funniest thing you've ever said. We're doing it.
Do what? I'm just going to poke my stomach. Okay, shut up. I'm going to give you more alcohol soon. Where are those shots? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Gessie has come back at this point, handed things out, and just kind of quietly slinked away like a good waitress would.
Locke is trying to work his way into his chair, slowly worming down.
Captain is going to go out and drunkenly socialize with as many familiar crewmen on the Ophion as he can find. Okay. And he'll probably do that for the rest of at least until maybe 1 or 2 o'clock before his symbiote has finally had enough, quote, experience.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing while the captain's mingling?
I'd say a couple more rounds and lots more banter about giving Locke a hard time before heading back to the ship.
Okay.
Drinking
Or
like
where-
he wishes he could get drunk.
Or wherever we're billeted at, because I'm sure a lot of us aren't going to be able to be in our quarters in beta section.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if your quarters are in beta section, you're pretty much living on the station. But if you're in alpha or gamma, then you're living on the ship.
Which
Um,
I think that would mean that I'm probably on the station, I would be near sick bay.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. So I'll just stumble to wherever I am at.
Okay.
did we ever establish where Maddox's quarters were, or he was just staying on the ship somewhere?
That's up to you. It can be wherever you'd like. There are certainly quarters to go around.
Um, where's his lab at?
Let me consult the holy MSD.
I think we established it was on beta section somewhere.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we said all the labs are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Deck 6 and 7 is probably where they mostly are.
All right, yeah, Maddox would be staying on the station also.
Okay.
Maddox gonna walk through the crowd and hope someone starts a fight with him.
Well, good news is, well, maybe not good news for you, but good news is no one really seems to be in a fighting mood unless you legitimately try to start shit.
I mean, there's probably an
Um,
Andorian for him to punch.
No Nausicaans?
No, in fact, Nausicaans are nowhere to be found. I guess I should have clarified earlier. So you're not seeing Nausicaans, you're not seeing Gorn, you're not seeing Klingons, but you are seeing other Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant races here.
I'll actually kind of speak to someone about that. I guess insert random waitress here.
Sure.
Hey, so I noticed that there ain't none of the uglies around here.
I'm sorry, sir.
The Klingons and Nausicaans and the troublemakers. There ain't none in this club. Why?
I think, well, it's because we're, the Klingons are on the other side of Federation space, and we're kind of out towards the boonies, and as far as I know, there's nothing the Klingons or people like them want out here.
So where's their bar at then?
I mean, they're welcome here.
So there aren't any on the station?
Not that I know of.
Alright. Never mind then. Thank you. Here's some platinum. And then Maddox just gonna kinda wander off.
Thank you. All right. So, let's skip ahead a tiny bit, not a whole lot. So, you guys get in a little bit more banter, a little bit more socializing, and you all begin to sort of filter on back to your quarters wherever they might be. And I'd like Beckett. I'd like you to roll me a. Oh boy. How about a fitness plus con? Because if I recall correctly, that is composure. The difficulty here, we'll make it a 2.
Is this for hungoverness?
Possibly.
Okay, because I have actions to take for that. But all right, fitness and con. I hate you because my con is terrible. Oh, there it is.
Should open my character sheet.
Yeah, I know I don't have any applicable focuses unless we're going with emergency medicine, but
No.
I don't think that's gonna work.
No, unfortunately not.
Not yet, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Stim yourself a bit.
Ah!
Nice.
Nice.
All right, so unfortunately, Panek, I don't think we can do your thing because Beckett is not blackout drunk. But I will
son of
remember
a
that
bitch.
for later.
Alrighty.
But yeah, Beckett, interestingly, as you, I would say probably about 2 seconds after you've stepped back into your quarters, you get a call on your comm badge, and it is Admiral Soko, and he says, Soko to Beckett, do you have a moment?
I'll hit my comm badge. Yes, Admiral. What can I do for you?
I'd like to see you in my office as soon as possible. Of course, I understand you may or may not have been at the New Year's celebration earlier, so if you need some extra time, just let me know.
I can probably be there in about 10 minutes. Thankfully for the advances of modern medicine, I will be perfectly fine.
Very good. Soko out.
And then I will go to a med kit. I will
Mm-hmm.
fix myself up a hypo spray that will make me instantly sober.
Mm-hmm.
Administer it to myself, and then head to the Admiral's office.
All right. So, you eventually arrive at Admiral Soko's office, and he lets you in when you chime the door, and he motions for you to take a seat. And he
I,
says, "Oh, go ahead."
I was gonna say, I imagine a cover of one of those old books that Fabio was the model for, where he's longingly gesturing for me to take a seat.
Oh God. I literally just Googled strong Nordic man and I went with the first result. So we're lucky it wasn't Thor or Loki.
It looks like Thor.
Yeah, he could be a Thor. Anyway, once you've seated yourself, Soko says, "Well, I apologize for calling you at a late hour, but I have some urgent news that I think you're going to want to see."
Okay. What do you got, Admiral?
He holds over a pad, and as he's offering it out to you, he says, "As you probably well know, Starfleet is scrambling to deal with the Andromeda situation. In the time it took the Ophion to make it back to Federation space, we had to deploy several weapon platforms to both stake Starfleet's claim and to discourage several brain ships that were sniffing around. And even though I don't really follow the goings on of the diplomatic corps, I do know that there are high level talks going on about who's going to be permitted to use the portal and what policies shall surround it. And that's where this comes in." And he again just sort of wiggles the pad for you to take it.
Um, if Beckett wasn't sober before, he is now.
Mm-hmm.
He'll lean forward and take the pad and start reading it as Soko's continuing to talk.
Well, he actually gives you a moment to read, and on the pad is a tentative order of both promotion and ship transfer. So it would be a promotion to captain, and it would be to captain the USS Lysithia.
Beckett kind of nods and mumbles, "A Luna class."
Indeed.
What would be the gist of the orders?
Well,
Or he holds up the pad, or he goes, "Or is this the orders?"
the orders would come, but basically, as Rear Admiral Thesso would have me say, the Lysithia would be responsible for serving as our pathfinder in the Andromeda Galaxy. We're putting on Starfleet's most promising and best and brightest individuals in the hopes that they will both represent Starfleet and the Federation of Planets well. And if it so comes to the event that you need to close the portal for whatever reason, that the crew will be able to essentially function without ever making it back.
I take it I was chosen because of my report.
Indeed, your willingness to close the portal, possibly stranding portions of the Ophion, was something the top brass agree is a quality that any ship captain that goes to Andromeda has to have. And it personally, I feel it takes a special breed of officer to be willing to uphold Starfleet principles to the point where they strand themselves at a point that's, well, obviously we don't want another Voyager situation, but, all the way to Andromeda is quite a long time.
Yeah, it's the type of thing that not even a Vulcan could make in their lifetime to
Indeed.
come back. Well, I do stand by my report. I stand by what I said. I can I give you my answer tomorrow? Let me sleep off this New Year's glow, and I'll give you my answer tomorrow.
Of course. I'll give you about 3 days to decide. So I don't quite need it tomorrow, but I do need it soon.
Very well, Admiral. I thank you for the thought of me in this role and in this mission. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And Beckett will just kind of stand and attention and give it a salute, and then we'll head out of his office and back to whatever he's using for quarters.
Okay. So, there is now sort of a window of opportunity for literally anyone between the events that just happened and the following day around noon. Starting at about noon, you all have to get in dress uniform and attend 2 ceremonies.
Captain will check on the Chanel.
Okay.
He'll transport over and meet with their temporary captain, just see how things are going.
So Lady Saris is doing well. She is very excited, and she says something along the lines of, well, it's my understanding tomorrow, Captain, that we will be receiving our official grant of asylum and basically grant to colonize any Federation world that is not currently inhabited.
Yes, I'm very pleased to have granted your species, to have allowed your species to set up sorry, you have no idea how hungover trills get. I'm pleased that your species has a chance at a fresh start away from hostile species. If you're of interest in taking suggestions, I would recommend the planet Thursius 5. Their beaches are very pleasant, and they have a very temperate landscape that has not yet been turned into a farmland yet.
I always did love oceanfront property. Thank you. I'll look into it.
I look forward to seeing you on stage receiving your Federation citizenship.
I might have a surprise for you after the ceremony. I still need to talk to the Admiral about a few things.
I do like surprises, so long as they don't involve Tholians.
I think we both agree there.
This pleases me. I shall see you at 1200 hours.
Be well, Captain.
Be well.
All right. Anyone else?
Matic is going to somehow make it to Beckett's room like half an hour before the ceremony, and like half his uniform's on.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like all unbuttoned, he's completely disheveled, and he knocks on Beckett's door.
Beckett will answer the door and look at the shape that Matic is in. So you didn't stop drinking last night?
I hand him I'll kind of hand him a flask that is half full. Does this answer your question?
Beckett will take the flask, open it, kind of sniff it, and then take a sip out of it, close it. So you need help getting in your uniform, or you want me to sober you up?
How many admirals are at the event?
You have no idea. You just know that it is a dress uniform event.
And this is the event for the Chanel, correct?
This is actually the promotion and medal awarding ceremony, and then after that is the Chanel.
Okay. So on Maddox's question of how many admirals are going to be there, I just look at him and nod slowly and say, all of them?
Matic kind of takes a deep breath, looks around. All right. Uh, sober me up, and then we'll figure out the rest.
All right, well, I'll motion for him to come into the room. Come in, give me a second to fix you up. And I'll make another one of the Beckett's miracle hangover cures.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll hit Matic with it. And then if he needs help him put his uniform on correctly. Shaking my head about this younger generation and their inability to hold their liquor.
Alright. So, if no one else has any other scenes, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. And as far as the ceremony is concerned, it is actually being held in one of the main arboretums of Starbase 214. It's a very big place, even though it looks kind of tiny here in the image I was able to find. It's very expansive, very similar to Siraku's. It takes up a whole strut. And sort of in the middle, underneath what I qualify as sort of a cherry blossom type thing, there is a small pulpit, and on it are, waiting for Skull to, do the ceremony. There are additional pips for Shatsu, Vara, and Tai. Shatsu's going to Lieutenant Commander, Vara's going to Lieutenant, and Tai is going to Commander. Also waiting for you, Captain, is a Cochrane Medal of Excellence that you basically cleared with the Admiralty to grant to Locke. But as it is your own promotion ceremony, I am inclined to let you do the speeches.
Very well. If only I had written something for this. Oh well. It has been a very long and arduous journey for the crew of the USS Ophion. But as one of the instructors used to say, pressure turns coal into diamonds, and this is no different. While several members have excelled during our time away in the Sabine Expanse and in Tholian space, certain crewmen have excelled, going above and beyond their regular duties on a very regular basis. So it is with my greatest pleasure I offer promotions. Lieutenant Shatsu, you are now Lieutenant Commander Shatsu. Ensign Vara, you are now Lieutenant Junior Grade Vara. Lieutenant Commander Tai, congratulations, you are now Commander Tai.
As he says this, I'll put pips on each one.
Okay.
One must also recognize the level of genius required to pull us out of Tholian space and take what has so far only been a one-time theory and put it into practical use with very challenging conditions. And for that, Lieutenant Locke has earned the Cochrane Medal of Excellence.
I'll hand him the case with the medal.
Lieutenant Locke, if you continue along this path, you will get many medals of this.
Locke steps forward, looks a little nervous and embarrassed, and accepts the medal.
As he do so, I'm just going to whisper, "You're doing great."
It was a bit of an accident. I didn't want this.
I would make a comment about limelight causing his skin to turn even bluer, but I think I'll withhold that comment. Instead, I shall pull a random bottle of champagne and pour glasses and offer a toast to our newly promoted crewmen. To the future of the Ophion. It appears that we will be sailing the stars once again with a very experienced crew, and one I'm proud to serve with.
Yeah, there's sort of a hear from everyone present. And, glasses are tinked, and there is probably I would say maybe 15 minutes before the next ceremony starts. And it is probably sometime during that you do see Lady Saris and the Admiral kind of begin to take center stage. But there is time for you all to mingle if you so wish.
Uh, I find myself next to Locke at one point, and I'll say to him, while humility is an admiral's trait, Lieutenant, perhaps Commander Shatsu could work on helping you be less humble in events like these. So I asked her to add that to your training.
No, I think she's training me well enough. It was just I look around to make sure that no one who's not on the Ophion is within earshot, and be like, well, all I did was crunch out the numbers for and fill in the gaps for the information we got from the future. And
Phrasing.
submitted it to the Daystrom Institute and several research cores, and all of a sudden I'm the one who's figured out quantum slipstream drive. I really didn't, but we can't admit that we got half the information from the future. I don't know if I really deserve this medal.
Matic walks by. It's called predetermination. It's the same excuse I used for my temporal mechanics. He takes a swig out of his flask and just keeps walking.
Well, it's like that man who won the Nobel Prize for transparent aluminum. Everyone hailed him as a genius for 200 years. And then we found out he only did half the work. It's flattering and honoring, but I just kind of reconciled the information. It's good that it's wonderful that they managed to take my findings and are kind of implementing and it's fixing some problems. But I don't know. I feel like an imposter.
Beckett will walk up and kind of, hearing this, pat Locke on the back. Look at it this way, from both sides. Edison got credit for something someone else did. Einstein, he said he was a failure from the start. Beckett will just kind of shrug. Sometimes greatness doesn't see it in itself. But I know who does see greatness in you. And Beckett will get the biggest shit-eating grin on his face and go, that newly made Lieutenant Commander Shatsu, she sees a lot of greatness in you. And he pats Locke on the back, looks at Panek and says, I think you should add some more training. Tell Shatsu that the rest of the command staff thinks that Locke needs more training.
Matic is over at Shatsu telling her the same thing.
And then Beckett will walk over to Vara and Ty to small talk with them.
All the face palming.
Also, because I do want to make it clear, just in case anybody's worried listening in, this is all in good fun. We do know that if people have limits, they are free to say, but this is all just friendly guy ribbing before anyone worries. But anyway, any other little bits of mingling you guys want to get out of the way? Okay, in that case, we are going to skip ahead 10-15 minutes.
Damn it, mute button.
Oh.
I did want to say something, and I started talking, and my mute button was on.
Right, what you got?
Right before, and probably a little bit during the ceremony with Lady Sirius, Beckett will walk over to Captain Skull, standing next to him, and very quietly, Captain, there's something I kind of want to talk to you about. Something that was handed to me late last night.
Did you get that bullion girl waitress's phone number?
Yes, Captain, and I've already put it into your data pad at your desk. But
this is serious. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Commander.
Beckett will kind of smirk. I don't know how to say this, but I was offered my own command last night.
There's a small tink as the champagne glass in my hand just sort of the stem snaps ever so slightly.
Mm-hmm.
While I can't think of an officer more deserving, except possibly Mr. Panek. However, and I would thoroughly encourage that you take this. but perhaps now is not the best time to discuss ramifications.
Beckett will just kind of slowly nod. Very well, Captain. And Beckett will move himself away from standing next to the captain and probably go over and stand in between Vara and Ty.
Okay.
I'm going to need a new champagne glass. Also a new doctor. I'm not entirely certain which is more important right now.
Yeah. Well, with you thinking about that in your head, Admiral Soko does get the ceremony started. And he's kind of doing the politician thing where he takes the pulpit and Lady Saris has sort of the spot next to him. And it seems that he has prepared a small little speech for this. So he kind of adjusts a pad before him and says, "It's not often I get the opportunity to personally extend an olive branch to an entirely new species. It is my pleasure to say that effective immediately, the Chanel Consortium is hereby granted political asylum and protection, as would be afforded to any Federation citizen. This extends not just to Lady Saris's crew, but to any other Chanel ships that are able to escape Tholian space. It is our hope that the Chanel will be able to find a home for themselves and rebuild. Starfleet and the Federation at large are willing to provide assistance in this endeavor. You need only ask." And then he sort of turns, offers his hand to Saris, and she takes it, and everyone begins clapping, and there's a transfer of data pads, and there's some more accolades and purple prose, but I won't bore you with that. But during this sort of after party of this ceremony, Lady Saris does approach Skull, and I'm curious to know who would be around the captain at this point, if anyone.
I'll probably be on his right shoulder.
Okay.
After the scathing retort, Beckett will not be anywhere around.
Okay. All right. So, Panek, you're of course going to be privy to this conversation. So Saris comes up to you, and she's, big beam on her face. She says, "Again, Captain, I want to extend a personal thank you to you and your crew. And though I'm not really sure if we can ever pay it off, myself and my people are in great debt to you."
Just be fine, upstanding Federation citizen. All the thanks that I need. I'm pleased to help your species in a time of its need. And I'll warmly shake her hand.
Yeah, very firm handshake from her, and she says, "This doesn't, of course, count towards the debt that we owe you at all, but I talked it over with the Admiral last night and a little bit this morning, and Soko has cleared that we will be imparting to the Ophion a Chanel cloaking device."
Raise an eyebrow at this. In terms of Captain.
I'm just going to raise an eyebrow as well. That's an unexpected gift, and I thank you for it. Surely the Admiral has made you aware of the Federation's stance on cloaking technology?
Indeed. That's why it's not for you. And she has a little bit of a laugh. He said that the Ophion was to keep it until they rendezvoused with the Lysithia.
The Lysithia. I'm just going to put two and two.
A Luna class, I believe, Captain. Currently inbound to the station.
I believe so. In which case, Commander, there's something I really should be... we need to discuss with Captain Beckett.
I'll look at his snapped champagne glass and then back up at him. I believe so.
Very well. Miss Sirius, if you'd care to join us, we'll take you to the most likely individual to be captain of the Lysithius.
I would be happy to meet them, if I haven't already, of course.
Commander Beckett, I apologize for earlier dismissing you curtly. It was a bit of a surprise that I was not expecting.
It's completely understandable, Captain. It wasn't the right time or place.
Nonetheless, I suppose I should ask if you plan on taking the position before officially starting to call you captain.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, but I think we've already talked about it enough. So I will, when we are done here, I will tell Admiral Soko that I will be accepting the position.
Oh, splendid! And I'll shake his hand and give him a sort of casual salute.
And then I will reach out a hand and kind of just hold it there, see if he accepts it.
Oh yeah, Beckett will gladly accept both handshakes.
You are aware, of course, that... Well, I apologize. I assume you'll be taking your still and brewmaster talents with you, or have you been training Vara in more arts than just medicine?
Beckett will kind of smirk. Well, if you don't want them on your ship, I will take them with me. But I figured I would leave it, and either Matic or Prague can probably take it over. I can build myself a new one on the Lysithia. Not like there's anybody to tell me I can't.
Perks of command, my friend. Perks of command.
Gentlemen, while the imbibements of the Ophion surely are on the list of priorities somewhere, I believe we should at least consider the recent development Lady Saris has presented to us and how it factors into our oncoming mission.
And
Beckett
will mirror Panek and just kind of raise an eyebrow.
The Chanel Consortium have a gift for the Lysithius, which the Ophion will be transporting at its earliest convenience.
The logical assumption here to make is that we will be accompanying the Lysithia to the Andromeda portal, and the cloaking device will be paramount to investigating beyond that, seeing as how that area of space is not inside, was not counted within the treaty with the Romulus.
Beckett, as best it can be put, looks shook and says, cloaking device? And then looks back and forth between Skull and Panek.
I'm just going to graciously gesture for Lady Saris to repeat her kind offer.
And she does. She again says, well, again, I've cleared it with the Admiral, but we will be giving you, to take to the Lysithia, a working Chanel cloaking device. Almost a dead ringer for the one we have currently installed on my ship.
That is a gracious offer, and one I will not take lightly. To be honest, other than the bare gist of what the mission might be, I don't know any more than what I've pretty much told the two of you, or now the three of you.
Well, bit of advice, one captain to captain. Don't be afraid to use the cloaking device. I mean, obviously it's kept my people alive all this time, but it has other uses too. It's not just for slinking around and, pretending you're not there kind of a thing.
That's good to know. I'm sure that once I find out who the chief engineer is going to be, I'm sure they're going to have lots and lots of questions.
Don't worry, we're also imparting with you a good brief on how to get it working. It's actually pretty straightforward, but you shouldn't have any problem with it.
Wonderful.
Once all that's done, I'd like to get Beckett kind of to the side.
Okay.
Michael. While we have not always been the most gracious comrades or crew members, I have to say that you are quite a physician, and you will make a very good captain, but mostly because of your moral choices and your commitment to them. No doubt your decision during the Andromeda Portal discovery played a factor in your assignment. I too had to face such decisions about whether or not to strand the Ophion sections on the other side. And seeing your reaction during your meetings, I believe you are the best person for this mission. Congratulations.
Beckett will kind of nod, and I thank you for the kind words. From what little Admiral Soko has told me, that's actually precisely why I was picked for this. And I know it's lost on most Vulcans, but what you might call animosity between the two of us is actually just good-natured jovialness between colleagues, especially ones at our rank and our station. It's not like we can really joke or behave in that manner with junior officers, now is it?
Indeed, we certainly have found a way to bypass such formalities. And then I will place a hand on his shoulder and say, while it may feel as though you are so far from home while you are in Andromeda, you will always have a place on the Ophion.
Beckett will just kind of smile and nod, and thank you, Commander. And I'm sure that you will continue to be the captain's foil as I have to you.
An interesting way to put that, Captain.
I'm not there yet. If you and I will probably end up talking about this later, but if what Soko has told me about what he would like of the crew, I may be taking some people from the Ophion.
I'm sure this will come up in the briefing, and I will work with your first officer to do crew evaluations and transfers.
Believe me, it would give me so much joy to see you and another person fighting over duty rosters and schedules.
I do not believe they understand the struggle they will be facing when it comes to me and my duty officers.
Oh, I know. But thanks again, Commander. And well, you haven't gotten rid of me yet. I'm still going to be around for a few more days. And I guess with that, Beckett will just kind of give a nod and then walk to go running after, not running, but after Admiral Soko.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, you can probably catch Soko before he completely leaves the Arboretum if you so wish.
Yeah. That would be fine.
Okay.
And excuse me, Admiral, if I can have a moment.
Of course, Commander. What can I do for you?
I have your answer.
I can see it on your face.
I'll take the position. If that's what I'm looking for. If you can let me know what holes in the crew there are, there are some people on the Ophion that I believe will fit your description of the best and the brightest, and are people who I know will follow my orders.
Well, I will have a full briefing delivered to your quarters sometime this afternoon. Not right away, just to give you some more breathing room. One thing of note, Commander, well, I suppose now Captain, even though that won't go into effect until you step foot on the Lysithia. It is of note that you are being assigned a first officer. I know it's usually standard for captains to pick their own, but we believe in this instance, assigning you one will work out much better.
I completely understand that. I think in the situation that may be posed of whether or not to do what I said I would always do, there might be it might be a good idea to not have someone that will just blindly follow it. Someone who will actually, I don't know, bring up discussions. Is a good way of putting it, I guess.
Yeah. I think you'll like her. She's had a colorful Starfleet career, and well, I think you'll find her interesting both from a medical standpoint and a command standpoint.
Beckett will just kind of nod. So I take it she's not human.
No, actually, she's a cameloid.
Interesting. You are 100% correct, Admiral. This will be interesting.
Well, if that's all, Commander, I do have to see to some reports. The Talarians have been poking at our borders recently, and I have to make sure that our diplomatic response is adequate.
Of course, Admiral. And Beckett will give a very sharp salute and then wait for the Admiral to leave.
All right. Yeah, and unless anyone else runs up to the Admiral, he will actually depart. All right. So, the question now becomes, what do you all do with your free time? We can simply skip ahead if we so wish, but as was mentioned, there is a significant sort of gap between now and when the Ophion will be repaired enough to reassemble.
Will Beckett's ship have arrived by then?
No. So the one thing, and we'll say this happens first so that he can filter it out to the rest of the crew as he sees fit. When Beckett goes back to his quarters and checks on the report that he's given, and I guess Skull, you'd get the same orders. Both of you would see that the Lysithia is going to meet you at Deep Space Daedalus, and it is at DSD that the actual change of command and promotion will occur for the Lysithia. And pretty much between now and when you get there is sort of open for you to do pretty much whatever you'd like.
There will be much remunerating in sick bay or the doctor's quarters.
Mm-hmm.
There will be the comment, or Skull will ask Beckett at some point, so, Doctor, are you going to be taking that painting with you? As I gesture to the one I gave him probably half a year ago by now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, I figured I was free to take it with me.
Splendid.
I figured it would be it would take up the same spot as the selfie of all of the dragons in your ready room.
I could not be any prouder of you.
Thank you, Captain. Yeah, I didn't think you were gonna take your gift back, so I kind of hoped to take it with me.
Oh, absolutely. If you weren't planning on taking it, I would have found a place of honor among somewhere in the Ophion.
Seems about right.
Yep. I'm just going to put a small smirk on my face. So, do you think that we should pretend? Do you think that Vara? How do you think Vara would take it if we told her that she was going to be new chief medical officer?
Well, that was something I'd hoped to talk to you about. That was part of the reason I put her in for a promotion, was because I didn't think anybody would really, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, that being an ensign, she doesn't really have the clout. And that's why I put her in for it. And she's been a great assistant. Whenever I've had to be on a different section of the ship, she has performed extremely well. And I mean, other than bringing someone else in or something along those lines, I think she would be the best choice. Plus, the crew already knows her and is comfortable with her.
And you believe that her organizational and command abilities would allow her to take on the role's secondary duties, such as telling other people what to do in a crisis?
Well, I don't know if you know this, because I don't remember if your symbiote has ever had any medical hosts, but it's ingrained in you going through medical school that, especially at Starfleet, that if you don't get your way, you make people give you your way.
Very well.
I think she'll do fine.
I shall take your word for it. However, perhaps maybe you should take it easy and let her take the brunt of sickbay duties en route to whenever we're off to Deep Space Daedalus.
What was that, Captain?
Oh, sorry, I think I mumbled. Perhaps you should let her take on the brunt of sickbay duties and en route to Deep Space Daedalus, just to make sure.
Oh, of course. Actually, that'll not only help her, but it would also help me. So I think that's a great idea.
And if you need any advice for adapting to the role of captain, please don't hesitate to speak to me. You'll remember how green I was when I took command.
I do. You're definitely not the same person you were then. And there is one thing that I would like, is when we do finally meet up with the Lycentia or at DSD, if you'd take the captain's tour with me.
I would be honored.
Well, to be perfectly honest, you're the only one of the captains I've ever served under that's actually still around. But I feel that because this mission came of being underneath your command, that it would be maybe good luck that you come over and take a look around as well.
I would be honored. And I shake his hand and make a hasty retreat so he doesn't see a small tear rolling down my eye.
Aw.
Got him.
Yay, emotional scenes.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. Panek almost got me a minute ago.
Oh dear. Okay. So not to cut anyone's RP short, but Panek, you're actually going to get a call from the Admiral yourself.
Panek here.
Lieutenant Commander or Commander Panek, if you could report to my ready room.
On my way, Admiral.
All right.
Hand whatever pad I have to whatever engineer as I'm overseeing Beta Station, and then make my way.
All right. Let me find your token. There you are. So yeah, you chime at the door. The Admiral tells you to come in, take a seat. And I guess I'm curious, would Panek stand, or would he actually take a seat?
He'd probably stand.
Okay. So Soko says, normally I'd tell your captain this, but I think you as a fresh commander could use a little bit of the experience yourself. Basically, Commander, there has been an outbreak of Rigelian fever on Panthara 4. And we need someone, preferably one ship with high warp capability, to make a delivery of the cure, which happens to be Ritalin. We have enough Ritalin here on Starbase 214. It just needs to get to its destination.
While the Ophion is certainly capable of maintaining high warp at extended periods, we will be unable to combine for quite some time still. But I believe we could make do with one of the sections. Do you have one in particular that you would like to transfer Ritalin aboard?
That's where you come in, Commander. I'd like you to make that decision whether or not you want to take one or both sections of the ship, and what crew you're going to be taking with you. Now, of course, if you would like to defer to your captain's judgment, that's perfectly acceptable, but again, this is mostly meant to be an experience for you.
I will certainly bring this to the captain's attention, and then whatever advice he deigns to give, I shall consider. I will let you know my decision very shortly.
Very good. Just make sure you let me or my staff know where to transport the Ritalin.
Very well. Thank you, Admiral.
Indeed. Dismiss.
And I'll nod and then leave. On my way out, connect to Captain Skull.
Skull here, go ahead.
May I meet you in your ready room? Or are you currently engaged?
So long as the Admiral promoted you to captain as well. You're more than welcome to come on by.
Uh, I have some troubling news for you then, sir. And then I'll cut the comm.
I'm I'm just in my ready room working on a report. Something about a crew stealing Admiralty bastard. And
All right. Well, sure enough, there is, we'll say probably about 10, 15 minutes later, there's a chime at your door, Captain.
come in,
Captain?
Commander. I'd
Uh,
invite you to have a seat, but in the year that we've served together, I don't think I've actually seen you sit in this ready room.
Indeed. To the matter at hand, Captain, the Admirals informed me of an outbreak of Rigelian fever in the Panthara system.
Panthara system. I'm just going to quickly tap on the galactic map at my desk. How far away is that?
It is literally one day and some change travel away at Warp 9. It is, in a galactic sense, it is pretty close.
Okay. What is aside from the plague situation? What does the system specs say on just local population and governance?
Sure. So, for those who don't remember the TNG episode, or, have never seen it, the episode in question was A Matter of Time, and Panthara 4 was pretty much the subject of said episode. And the sort of quick TLDR of events is that the Enterprise D helped stabilize the planet after it was struck by a Type C asteroid in 2368, so 10 years ago. Well, I guess 11 now. Basically, they had to cause some eruptions of volcanoes. They had to risk burning off the entire atmosphere to starve off what was a pseudo nuclear winter, things of that nature. But
Oh, that was the Berlinghoff Rasmussen episode, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
Okay, I
Um,
remember it more or less.
But these days, Panthara 4 is thriving colony. Since you asked about the government, you do know that just like it was 11 years ago, there is sort of a council of leaders that jointly decides the fate of the colony. I wouldn't call it a direct democracy, but I would say it is pretty close to a true representative democracy.
Okay. I'm just reading that with one eye while listening to Pennec. So why did the Admiral ask you to deliver it instead of me?
He believes I could use the experience in command. As such, I think I have decided to take the Gamma section of Ophion. It can maintain the high warp necessary to reach there in time, as well as the space required to carry the Ritalin. I came in here to seek your advisement on crew.
Hmm. Under normal circumstances, I would recommend taking Commander Beckett. However, he is not. He has other duties at the moment. See if my recommendation would be Lieutenant Junior Grade Vara. Take her along as she may need the experience to coordinate such a deployment of said cure.
I was also considering Commander Tai as a pseudo first officer for me.
That she's acted in such a role before, I believe that would be a very good choice. Let's see. Murthrin, of course, is overseeing the ship, and Maddock is busy tinkering away with whatever it is Maddock does when he's not working on the ship. What's the population of
Panthara?
Panthara?
I wasn't able to find a hard stat on this, but considering it's been on the planet for 20 plus years, I would probably say it's probably a borderline medium, close to large colony in terms of populace. Obviously, it's nowhere as populated as, say, Earth or Mars or things of that nature. But
So a few million, probably.
yeah, a few million. If let's put a number. Let's say 25 million. Sure.
Okay. 25 million, and Commander, perhaps this would be a good test of how you are able to deal with other commanding officers of other Starfleet facilities. See if you're able to wrangle up a few medical personnel from the Starbase's staff. See if you can get the Admiral to bite on bringing a couple extra hands along, just in case.
Well, that is a logical decision, Captain. Thank you for your advisement. I will see you. I will inform the Admiral of my decision, and I will see you relatively soon.
Yes, and do bring Gamish section back in one piece, please.
I will endeavor to.
And be aware that the Admiral may not be as logical in his thinking as you might be. If you wish for him to grant you the additional personnel, you may have to appeal to his emotional sides. Often the greatest challenge I've seen with Vulcans is gaining the ability to empathize. As you move up in ranks, you're going to have to start to learn that skill.
I will take this under advisement and do some introspective house cleaning, as the humans would say.
Yes. Your father would probably have some insights now that we're back in Federation space. Perhaps a subspace, unless you already have been. Your father would probably have a great deal of insight.
I will perhaps seek that. Vulcans are not particularly close with their parent units.
I understand, but your father, I believe, has served in the diplomatic corps for, I think, longer than I've been alive. He has more insight to the inner workings of us emotional species.
Certainly longer than one of you has been alive.
Well, yes. Yes, indeed. I wish you good journeys and favorable winds, Commander.
Same to you, Captain.
All right. So, out of curiosity, Panek, who are you taking? Obviously, we are somewhat splitting the party, but I'd like everyone to have a character that they could call on if they want to participate in any scenes. You know, standard away team type stuff.
Vara, Kai, Prag,
Take
Quackenbush.
Quackenbush, okay. Or is it Quakenbush? I think we keep saying Quack, it's Quaken.
Yeah, Quaken.
Beckett will always call him Quack.
And anyone else that can fill the role, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming Beckett's going to command Vara. Who would be taking over Commander Ty?
I'll take on Ty.
Okay.
I don't think she's gotten much limelight in this.
No, she's a very unfleshed out character, so you may feel free to fluff her as you so wish.
Apparently, at some point I logged out of Roll20.
All right. So that's Panek, the captain, Beckett, Locke, and Maddock. Who would you guys like to bring along?
I think Maddox's just going to go as Maddox.
Okay.
Maddox does Maddox. I'll bring in Tin.
Okay. Oh, joy. Monologue 10. I love it. All right. So, mostly because I think we don't need to play this scene out, the Admiral will, of course, give you whatever medical personnel he can spare, Panek. And sure enough, it takes a very trivial amount of time and effort to get the right talent on board the Gamma section. However, Beckett has requested a scene, so we will sort of do that. And the scene is Beckett is more or less walking Vara down the gangplank to Gamma section. And Beckett, if you want to talk to yourself, you can, but otherwise I can play Vara.
No, I don't want to be the captain and Zareed. So No. You and I can just hash it out real quick.
Sure.
As they're walking, Beckett has the backpack that he normally carries when he goes on away missions. It's basically where his med kit is,
Mm-hmm.
or that's how he's carrying his med kit. And he's just talking to Vara. I know you'll do fine with this. You're better with diseases than I am, anyways. And you remembered your all your equipment. Remember to check the temperature because that stuff does go bad very quickly in the bad temperatures. And basically just kind of like mother henning.
She was actually going to bring that up and say, Commander, is there any reason for the increased mothering?
Uh, no, I guess not. I know you'll do fine when you get back. You and I have kind of a long talk, but here, and he hands her his backpack.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken that on every away mission I've ever been on. It was given to me by one of the Starfleet ground troopers that I patched back up when I was on the Hope. I don't think I'll be going on very many away missions anymore, so I think you should have it.
She looks very quizzically at you, like she wants to ask, well, why aren't you going on away missions? But thinks better of it. She takes the backpack, puts it on, and says, I will endeavor to maintain the legacy of this backpack. Thank you, Commander.
Uh, I know it's nothing, but when you get back, we'll talk. And don't don't forget to give a little bit of sass back to Commander Panek.
Oh, of
And
course, I would not dream of not giving him sass.
Beckett will just kind of wink at her and then head back up to gangplank towards sickbay, probably.
Okay. Alrighty. So, Panek, you have everyone that you wanted, including the few extras. And I'll let you give the order.
Comms, please hail the Alpha section.
Coming up now, sir. And on screen, you probably would see Skull.
Commander,
Captain, we are preparing to disembark on our mission of aid.
very well. I shall see you in a few days.
Indeed. Hold the fort, as they would say.
I'm just going to look around at make a theatrical look at my bridge that's missing several key officers at the moment. I will make do with what I have.
I'm sorry to steal such able officers, Captain. I will return them in working order.
Nonsense. Starfleet officers go where they're needed. Right now, most of us are not needed anywhere here.
See you soon, Captain.
Godspeed.
Gamma section out. Lieutenant Wine, engage.
All right. So the Gamma section angles away from Starbase 214 and jumps to warp. And you know what? Let's take our break here a little bit early, just because I've got to do some Discord messaging with some folks. Matic, as I said, you probably want to talk to Beckett about that behind the scenes and let me know what you guys figure out. But let's come back at 3:45 p.m. and we'll pick things up from there. Sorry. So BRB. All right, I am back, and looks like I have a little bit of reading to do. Thank you, Soup, for the bits, and Red Gorman. Hopefully, I read that right. Thank you for this up. I really appreciate it. Um, Something that occurred to me, if any of my players are here, you guys have kind of had a Vorta in your brig for like the past 7, 8 months.
Oh shit!
No, we patched them
So,
off at DSD.
did you?
That's what I heard last when we asked about them.
Well,
It's like when
hopefully
you
that's
remember
the
you had a
case.
pet and you had needed to do something, and it's like, oh crap! Did I put air holes? Did I feed it? Oh shit!
Um, yeah, honestly, I don't know off the top of my head. That's why I brought it up, because I was like, I wonder what's going on in the brig. Um, I'll see if I can find it in past episodes, but I'm about 75% sure he's pretty much been in the brig for quite a long time. Oh dear. Alright, whose token do I not have on this map? Vara?
Medic.
Would you be on the bridge though, is my question?
Panek. Would Matic be on the bridge or engineering?
Probably engineering.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do what we usually do, and I'll just kind of put you up top somewhere.
In the darkness.
Yes, we'll put you up with Vara, just in case we need to track your stats for whatever need, or for whatever reason.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I can't remember if in this system does it mean anything that I took the 2 injuries? Because I'm assuming we fixed them, but I didn't know if.
Yeah. So the way injuries work, it's very easy to get injured, but it is also very easy to fix injuries. Unless you are tubed by a Borg or something so severe that we're looking at loss of limb or organ. All of your stress and your injuries are fixed at the beginning of the next scene. So I would say to this point, Matic, you maybe have 1 or 2 additional scars, but it's nothing that changes you as a person.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely do let me know what you and Beckett work out here. And I think it's worth saying, this is not me writing off Beckett. This is kind of a joint thing he and I worked out. He's going to be bringing in a new character, which I think I have a good idea of how to introduce them already. But it's going to be timed such that he will come in about the time he'll be off for a couple weeks. So he might just be in the background, or maybe not even introduced to the bridge staff until then. But I think I've got a way to make it transition pretty smoothly.
And as far as Matic did message me, I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he had already talked to you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
yeah,
I'm-
it's like as soon as it got brought up in game, I sent a message to Mike, and I'm like, "Hey, look, this is Maddox. These were Maddox orders. Why he came to the Ophion in the first place? If it comes up that Beckett needs someone engineer wise, just shove Maddox's name up."
Yeah, as of right now, it's an NPC. It's a name, a race, and a gender. That's pretty much it. So, I'm cool with it, 100%, because it'll give that ship somebody who actually has stats.
Sorry, so I just got back, so obviously I haven't heard what the plans are for splitting the party. Are we starting the another session for the USS Livacious? Was it
Lysithia.
Lysithius?
No. This is and Beckett, feel free to tell me to shut up if I'm saying too much, but this is, as we kind of workshop, the Lysithia is going to go ahead from you guys into Andromeda, and it's going to kind of do its own thing, but if and whenever you go to Andromeda yourselves, it's going to be likely one of your only methods of support when you go there. And it's kind of one of those things where you might tag team. But no, I'm definitely not starting a third game for the Lysithia.
So does that mean that Beckett's going to make a new character?
That is correct, yes.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. I don't know, Beckett, would you like to say what that character is now, or would you care to wait?
No, I don't mind. If I don't know if you guys can see it on the log, there is a character named Darian Drake.
Nope, don't see it.
Okay. He is going. Just lost my train of thought. So when we were talking about Beckett being promoted, I talked about bringing a new character, a role that was kind of is an NPC is currently taking, and we both were already kind of thinking that maybe a PC should take it. So you're going to have a new tactical officer.
Oh, cool.
And what'll happen is Shatsu will probably just go to beta shift, and or gamma shift. I haven't really decided which yet, but she'll still be around. Just
Rock.
We could Tasha Yar her.
oh god, no, I would never do
But-
that to Shatsu. Oh, God.
But yeah, so that's what he's going to be. Is it's going to be a tactical officer. The main reason that I even like spoke up to the GM about this is I started looking at some of the awards and the medals and stuff, and even if Skull gave Beckett every single medal every time we got renown, Beckett's sitting at 20. Technically, he's at 21. So even if you would have to give me an award every time to get me to not be capped at 20, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So it just got to the point where I'd already kind of wanted this as Beckett's story of him taking over a ship that wasn't just a hospital ship, and kind of pitched the idea. And I even pitched the idea, which our lovely GM completely glassed over, so I know he hated the idea, which was looking up on Memory Alpha and Memory Beta. There's no head of Starfleet Medical in 2379, because Beverly Crusher steps down and goes back to the Enterprise. So I even suggested that, and that got glassed over. So I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't see Beckett as the type to want to go and be a Beverly Crusher at Starfleet
No,
Medical.
not at all. Not at all. And it's not that I don't like playing Beckett. I really do. I like playing Beckett, and I like the dichotomy that we have on the ship. It was going to get to the point where we were going to have to do something about the fact that Beckett is sitting at 20 renown, and every time we gain renown, I'm auto gaining renown because I can't roll, below a 20. I mean, above a 20. So it was just like, this was kind of where
You get that Riker situation where he's ready for a command at like the beginning of season 4, and then just like coasts for like 4 more years.
And to be perfectly honest, I thought about pitching that idea too, of that every admiral and their mother was asking him to take command, and he kept saying no. But I didn't really feel that's an XO move to make,
Mm-hmm.
A Riker move. I don't want to leave my captain. I like being with my captain. I like serving on this ship with this crew. And even though Beckett does too, it's just, I don't know. It was a better story for him to leave and take over another ship. So, but yeah, if Maddox wants to go, and I'm more than willing to take him. I was going to leave the still in his hands, but if he's coming with me, then I guess I'll give it to Prague.
Yeah, I'll say Prague will gladly take that over. Maddox, you and I will chat after the game, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it, like all the bridge positions are taken, if I remember correctly.
There's a few that aren't.
There's ops.
Oh yeah.
There's ops and navigation.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it later, GM.
Yeah. All right. Well, if everyone is back, we can start things back up. So, Gamma Section is currently en route to Penthara 4. And it is about this moment that Commander Tai,
Yes.
you are getting on your. I guess since she's currently sitting at tactical, or whatever the first officer equivalent would be on this bridge, you're going to see on your readout that there is an incoming hail from Penthara 4.
Commander, sir, we are receiving a hail from Panthara
On
4.
screen, Commander.
Yes, sir.
All right, so on screen is a human-looking man. Looks to be in about his late 30s, maybe early 40s. And he says, "Hello, is this the Ophion I'm reaching?"
This is the USS Ophion. Commander Pinek speaking. What can I do for you?
Well, I am Arian Rogers, and I am one of the many on the Council of Leaders that handles the laws and such of the colony. I'm calling ahead because I wanted to get a feel for when you would be here.
Lieutenant Wine, what is their current time of arrival?
Give me a moment, sir. Types a little bit on his console. ETA is approximately 3/4 of a day, sir.
Will that be enough time for you to receive the shipment of Ritalin?
Rogers sort of rubs the back of his head and kind of hems and haws, and he says, I mean, I guess it's not like we can make you go any faster. There haven't been any deaths yet, but we are sort of dealing with a true outbreak scenario here. It is spreading tremendously fast.
I will see what our engineering staff can pull out of the engines, give us any more speed. Beyond that, I cannot do much more.
Well, we're just thankful that you were in the area and could make this delivery. It literally will be saving lives.
Of course, that is what Starfleet does. Is there anything else, Mr. Rogers?
No, I can't really think of anything unless you really feel like repairing one of our broken orbital platforms, but no, I think that's it.
Once we have delivered the Ritalin, I'm sure our engineering staff could take a look at it.
Oh, that would be much appreciated. Penthara 4 out. And, screen goes back to, stars flying by.
Commander Matic,
Medic here.
what is our current warp velocity?
We're sitting at about warp 7. Why?
Bring us up to warp 9.5, please.
Can do.
Commander Pinexa,
Yes, Commander.
with the repairs on Beta Section, they've taken up most of our engineering resources. We had to leave most of them on Beta. We're not expecting a full engineering situation, sir. We don't have as much resources as we normally would to help them with their orbital lander.
We will provide what help we can. We're able to. We may not be able to get them back into working conditions, but it'll be closer to it than they would be alone.
Of course, sir. Just informing the commander of all of current ship situation.
Thank you, Commander.
So, again, I do love giving you guys windows of RP opportunity. So is there anything you guys want to do RP-wise between now and your arrival at about, say, half a day at this point with your increased speed? All right, I'm not hearing anything, so we'll skip ahead. And I will put you all on this map. So, sure enough, the Gamma section arrives and drops at a warp in the Panthara system. And you approach the fourth planet in the system, a Class M world, as we said before, home to about 25 million colonists. And interestingly, compared to the last time sort of a quote unquote on screen shot was of Penthara 4. Um, Before it was kind of a bluish world, but for whatever reason now, it is kind of a brown tint. Um, Initial sensor scans don't really reveal that any major change in biomes happen, but there is a definite change in the hue of the planet.
Lieutenant Wine, bring us into a geostationary orbit above the main capital.
Done, sir.
Commander Tai, inform the government that we have arrived and acquired transport positions for the right Talon.
Of course, sir.
Bridge to Lieutenant Vara.
Go ahead, Bridge.
I'd like you to perform a cursory inspection of a few cases of the right Talon to make sure it's in usable condition.
Already ahead of you, Commander.
Very good, Lieutenant. Let me know what you find.
All right. So, Vara, if you would give me a reason plus science. Difficulty here is only, or well, maybe a reason plus medicine. Difficulty here is only going to be a 1.
Okie dokie. Give me 1 second to find her sheet, because it's not where Beckett is, and I know where that one is by heart. So, reason and medicine.
Yep.
Applicable focuses, I doubt, emergency medicine, infectious diseases, and trauma surgery.
Not at the moment. No, none of those would apply.
Okay.
Yeah, you get the success you need. So, Vara, you kind of, inspect the crates and everything seems to be checking out, but then you go to the last crate. And in scanning it, you realize that about 2/3 of the crate's contents of Rytalin is unusable. So it's very similar to that TOS episode where I stole this idea from. In that the Rytalin is impure. It has some sort of impurity that makes it useless as a cure for Rigelian fever.
Only 2/3 of it?
Only 2/3 of that one particular crate. And I would say, just so we can have some numbers here, you have 3 crates, and 1 crate will handle somewhere in the neighborhood between 100,000 and 500,000 people.
Okay, and then you said one of the crates, about 1/3 of it won't work?
2/3.
2/3 of it won't work. Okay.
You have 3 crates?
Yeah, you have 3 crates?
Okay. Vara to Commander Panek.
Bridge here.
Commander, in going over these crates, 2 of the crates are perfectly fine. A third one, my scans are showing that the better part of about 2/3, 60% of this, it probably won't work. I can break it down and find out why if you would like, but I don't know if we have that kind of time.
I'd like you to begin such an analysis anyway. Thank you for performing this inspection. I will speak with the Pentharan government.
Of course, Commander. I will get on it right away.
Commander Tai, hail Mr. Rogers.
Yes, sir.
I'm now tempted to
hailing
make
frequencies.
Mr. Rogers like actually Mr. Rogers. But
Well,
I
howdy,
was-
neighbor.
I was just going to ask, how's the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Well, howdy, neighbor. I
Yeah.
thank you very kindly for bringing all this drugs to my location.
God. Unfortunately, no, he will not be the lovely Mr. Rogers. Just normal Aryan. But no, so Rogers answers and he says, Ophion, we see you that you're in orbit. Here's the I'm transmitting the coordinates now for the beam down.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. However, I regret to inform you that 2/3 of one of our crates of Vertalin is showing impurities, and will be unable to be of use to you in curing the Rigelian fever.
Well, I guess we'll just have to make what we have work. I don't know. We are doing quarantine procedures, but if we were able to identify the initial cause or how it's spreading so rapidly, we might be able to prevent it from, overwhelming what we have on hand.
I will have my team look into it. However, when I was first handed this assignment, I of course did research into this particular planet and any Starfleet logs. I noticed that your biosphere has changed quite dramatically since the last time it encountered, since the last time the U.S. Enterprise was here. Uh, Perhaps somehow this biological change has uh, affected the Rigelian fever.
I mean, that's entirely possible. I mean, I'm no doctor. I'm a career politician. I know next to nothing about medicine. But
Then,
yes, you can go ahead. Sorry.
Mr. Rogers, I suggest you gather the best minds you have down there that could begin studying this, and I will do the same up here with my crew. Uh, Perhaps we will find an answer. In the meantime, I have my medical staff looking at the impure Ritalin in an attempt to, I guess, remove the impurities through some sort of filtration process. I don't know what progress they've made yet, but I will keep you updated.
Understood. Thank you so much. And yeah. So,
Commander, sir.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go, yes, Commander.
While Lieutenant Vara is working on the analysis, shall I begin coordination of transporting the good medicine down?
With all due haste, Commander.
Yes, sir. I do a quick bow, turn on my heel, and quickly strut out the turbolift.
Okay. All right.
Lieutenant Commander Maddock.
Medic here.
We're going to be around in the system for a bit more time than we initially projected. We've been asked to take a look at their malfunctioning orbital station. I'd like you to get a couple of people together and do a scan and see what resources we have available to help them.
Do they have any idea what caused it to malfunction, or it just kind of stopped working?
The answer would be the latter.
All right. I'll get what I can, but we don't have enough people to really send away a true away team.
Whatever help we can provide, we will, Commander. We won't push ourselves too thin. We still need to get back in one piece. But take a look at it. You and Chief Thin are on it.
Hey, Commander.
All right. So let's deal with Maddock and Tin first, because I feel like we haven't heard from Locke in a while, and I do apologize for that. So let's have you two beam over first. I'm just going to move you guys to the other side of the planet to represent that. So as you beam over to this platform, I would liken it to be some sort of orbital tether, in that there is not a true elevator that connects point A to point B on the planet and into space. Obviously, there is some sort of a lift, but it is not like a full elevator that is meant for people. This sort of rising structure is meant to get goods from the planet to the platform and then into surrounding space as efficiently as possible. Obviously, this being materials that either can't be beamed aboard a ship, or materials that are simply too big to beam. Now, with that said, Tin and Maddock, when you materialize, the good news is that life support is still functioning. However, it is at a very minimal level. So the air is kind of stale, it's a little bit musty, and the lights are at a very dim level. And as you both kind of take your tricorder and begin scanning, I would like one of you to roll, and one of you is going to assist the other. And this is going to be a reason engineering, and I'm going to make the difficulty here a 2.
Real quick,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the orbital station, whenever it started messing up,
Mm-hmm.
um, how closely in time did it start messing up in comparison to this flu that started going around?
That is a question that you might get an answer to, depending on your roles.
All right. You said a
Reason
reason engineering.
engineering.
Okay.
Finn will assist.
Yeah. Engineering.
Decent looking space station here.
Power systems, alien
Mm,
technology,
I'll give you
prototype
power
engineering.
systems.
Okay.
Sensor operation.
I'd give 10 sensor operation.
Um.
Nice.
Ooh,
Tin's on the
okay.
ball today.
I'm at home in stations. I was raised in one.
Ooh.
Gotta
Well,
watch out for that pipe.
I'm gonna take threat for that. So you are gonna succeed and get one momentum, which you could spend on a question. But here's what your initial scans reveal. Um, the initial platform was in operation about a month ago, and then a Rigelian freighter, a scheduled one, not like an unplanned one, a Rigelian freighter came in, did some trading with the planet, used the platform you're currently standing on, and then sort of went on its merry way. But about 2 weeks after the departure of the freighter is when symptoms of the fever started springing up on the planet. Um, it was also about that same time as the fever that the platform just sort of stopped working. Like, obviously, it still has life support, but main power systems are down. Pretty much everything that isn't life support is down.
I want to pull up the frigate's logs or like the frigate's flight path
Mm-hmm.
and see where it came from and where it went.
Okay. Let me consult my map here so I tell you the right thing. All right. So, you guys are all the way down here. It initially came from. It came all the way from Algol, which is about 25 light years away. It is somewhat near Talos. And its flight path after Penthara was to go to the Tormons system. And the Tormon system, if you were to look at a map, from Penthara, it is 25 light years to the northwest, almost purely diagonal.
Um, how long does it take to get from where it was to Pintura and then from here to their next destination?
So the freighter in question is not a super high warp capable ship. If you give me a moment, I can tell you the actual speed. Let's see. So 25 light years. Let's see, 25. Let's say it has a cruising speed of 6. Let's see time. It takes the freighter somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 23 days to get from point A to point B in both directions.
Okay. So within reason, it would be at the next destination.
As far as you're seeing, yes, it would have already arrived at the Tormon system to do whatever business it was doing there.
Okay. From leaving its previous post and coming here, how long did it take? Like,
22 days.
so it took an extra. Well, is that the math or is that the actual what the log says?
That is what the log says.
Um, I want to send a message to its next. Well, actually, uh, Pinek, this is Matic.
Bridge here. Go ahead.
Um, the freighter that last docked here, it took him a few extra days to arrive here than it should have. He is either currently en route or at his next stop. My suggestion would be to send a message there to have his ship checked out to make sure he isn't carrying the plague, because after he left this dock, that's whenever everything kind of started snowballing. It could be coincidence, but safe than sorry.
Send the Ophion the freighter's designation from the station banks, and we will attempt to hail them and his destination.
Affirm. And then I'll transfer it over.
Mm-hmm.
Commander Tai, attempt to hail them. Hail the freighter.
Hi, sir.
All right. So you hail the ship in question. Let me just find out where the hell I put it in my notes. It is the SS Boomy, Buumi, and sure enough, you do get a response. And on screen, you see a Rigelian gentleman. He is dressed. I don't want to say like every other Federation trader that we see, but he's obviously not Starfleet. He's wearing sort of blue collar type trader clothes, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously not a very wealthy individual, or if he is, he's not flaunting it. And he says, "This is Captain Regalo of the USS Boomy or the SS Boomy. To what do I owe the pleasure?"
Captain Regali, this is Commander Panek of the USS Ophion. We have reasonable suspicion to believe that your freighter is contaminated with Rigelian fever. I am currently in orbit of Panthara 4, the last stop on your destination, and they are experiencing an outbreak of it. Shortly after you disembarked from their orbital station, it became it malfunctioned, and 2 weeks later, the outbreak began. I have you reached the Tormund system yet?
Yes, in fact, we will be leaving the Tormund system in about 6 hours.
Uh, Commander Tai, patch in the Tormund system government. Attempt to hail them.
Yes, sir.
Sure enough, another gentleman comes up on screen and he says, "This is Tormund Command. How may I help you?"
Tormund Command. This is Unit Commander Panek of the U.S. Ophion, Starfleet. As I have just finished telling the captain here of the SS Boomy, we have reason to suspect that their freighter is contaminated with Rigelian fever. His last stop and his destination is experiencing an outbreak of it. I would suggest you immediately begin quarantining your the docks where the Boomy is located, and any shipment that has been taken off of it be removed and possibly destroyed.
So while you say this, Regalo does kind of look like he wants to protest, but since you kind of are Starfleet, he doesn't want to interrupt you. And the Tormund Command officer, who has not identified himself, says, "I will see to it then. If there's nothing else, we do have quite a bit of traffic in space today."
I would suggest you shut down all traffic to risk exposing other ports. This is quite a serious situation happening here. If need be, I can seek the authority to do such a thing, but I'm looking to seek your cooperation in such an endeavor.
Not to worry, Starfleet. We can take care of our own. Rest assured, we will handle this situation. And before you can even say anything else, that part of the screen just goes. And it's just now you and Regalo.
Ty is a suspicious person, so I want her to gain understanding.
Okay. What are you trying to get a feel for?
Whether or what he means by "we'll take care of our own." Is he actually planning on following through with our commander's suggestion, or is he just going to, quote, take it under advisement and then lose the paperwork?
I'll give this to you without a roll. We're in a very non-rolling or not a whole lot of rolls this game, but that's fine. You would have either the time to look this up or prior knowledge that the Tormund system is not technically part of the Federation. While it is a human colony, it is one of those that is, it's formally bordered the Cardassian territory. It wasn't in the neutral zone or the demilitarized zone, but it was very near the Cardassian border with open space. Based on its position now, though, it is pretty much to the south of Klingon territory. So I would say the closest thing that you might pick up is the Tong Beak Nebula. At least I'm pretty sure that's on every single map. If not, I can get you another point of reference.
Okay.
Let's see what else. But you would know that Tormund is a fiercely independent government and people. They deliberately do not seek membership with any force. They like to remain independent. So your guess is that they're pretty much going to do whatever they see fit, and unless you literally show up and start, throwing around your weight as a big old starship, they're going to do what they want.
Commander, I'm going to mute the boomer captain.
Mm-hmm.
Commander, we do not have direct authority to dictate to the Tormund system. However, being so close to Federation space, if there is an active ship nearby, we could alert them to any transports coming into our space, and they would have the authority to stop and perform medical checks.
A prudent course of action. Even with Tormund Systems' independent streak, we do have the ability to quarantine any incoming traffic for the sake of Federation, other Federation worlds. Also, I believe the Klingons do not take well to infected worlds so near their border, so I believe it's in their best interest to cooperate with us.
I will see if there is a starship nearby, and I will send warning notifications to Klingon ambassadors and nearby systems, sir.
All right.
And then unmute the captain of the boomer.
All right. So Regalo just kind of says, so that probably just torpedoed 2 trade deals, but I'm an understanding man. I would rather not be known as a plague ship. Rest assured, Mr. Panek, that if the Tormunds don't do anything, at least we here on the Boomy will do a thorough decontamination cycle.
I believe that is what you should be. The course of action you should take, Captain. Please do everything you can to limit any more exposure, especially to the Tormund system. They are jumping off point to numerous other areas of space, and with the Klingons so close, I don't want an outbreak incident to become a diplomatic one as well.
I wouldn't dream of it. We'll do what we can.
Thank you for your cooperation. Ophion out.
All right. So, back on the platform. Tin, we'll say, because you're probably better skilled at a sensor sort of operation than Matic is. Tin, you're picking up that the reason or what you think is the reason for the outpost or the platform to have stopped working is that several key EPS conduits from the core have almost been eaten through like an acid.
Well, here's the problem right here. Thankfully, the safety protocol shut down when the EPS conduits broke. Otherwise, this whole area would be flooded with plasma.
Looking at this, I would say this is a problem, but it's probably a symptom of a much larger problem.
Let me get a reading of those conduits. I may be able to determine if it's an organic acid or an artificial one.
That would be a reason science, most definitely. I tell you what, I'm going to make this a difficulty 3.
Oof.
Remember, you do have the 1 momentum at the moment.
Do one use our 1 momentum.
Yeah, use it and then see if we get more back.
Am I assisting or no?
Um, if you could tell me how you're assisting, like, does Matic
Can
have
I do
knowledge?
cheerleader?
No, you can't be a cheerleader. Um, does Matic have any knowledge of corrosive materials, corrosive agents, um, things of that nature? Maybe metallurgy, even if Matic has metallurgy of some sort.
Mm, no, probably not.
Okay.
If we get lucky. Nope.
Okay. So, what that complication is going to be, Tin, is when you go to scan the EPS conduits. The first thing you're going to note is that this is a, strangely, it is a naturally occurring acid. Like, this wasn't introduced by someone trying to sabotage the station. It's almost like that substance on the Enterprise D that was sort of just eating away at conduits for whatever reason, and kind of turning them to slush. And the only reason you notice this is that as you go to scan the EPS conduits, there's a small power surge, and literally you are coated head to toe in this viscous liquid.
All right, I'm getting some good readings. I'm getting some good. Oh God, it is everywhere. It is. It's in my eyes. Oh, I think I got some in my mouth. This is the worst day of my life.
Um, Phrasing. Um, does it
It's
does it
so
seem
salty
that
and
does it
warm.
Oh, God.
Tin, make sure you get with Locke and Shatsu and help them out with their training. Um, does it seem like it's harming him? Like, is he like medic? Like, from what like Matic used like remember Matic used to be on the search and rescue ship, and he used to
Right,
be like
right.
a medic.
Is it melting his face?
No,
Yeah, like
thankfully, it is not seeming to harm Tin in any way, other than to just make him extremely uncomfortable.
okay.
What about my comm badge?
Thankfully, your comm badge still works.
Is there anything detrimental, or it's just he just has goo all over him?
He just has goo all over him.
I think this is the residual of um, whatever active acid or corrosive destroyed the pipes.
All right. Matic kind of looks around. Did we bring anything to put samples in?
I would say you would have brought something, yeah.
Okay. He's gonna take a sample of whatever it is. He's gonna and then Matic to Vara.
Vara here. Go ahead, Commander.
I'm about to transport over a substance that is currently covering Locke and making him uncomfortable.
Tin.
10. I know we're both
10.
blue, but
10. I'm sending over a substance that we believe melted EPS conduits. Could you just take a look at this and see what you can tell us about it? Also, fill in Panek that because we have no idea what this is, I'm also placing myself and Tin on quarantine notice inside of this orbital pod because we don't know if this is what caused the Rigelian flu issues.
Okay, I will get on that as soon as I can, Commander. If Chief 10 isn't, well, I can just talk to you plainly. If Chief 10 isn't melting into a pile of goo, I would say just clean him off for now. But I will inform Commander Panek, and I will get on this analysis right now.
All right. Matic goes and finds a water hose.
I don't know if you'd find a water hose, but you would find something to help get Tin not covered in goo. While that's going on, Vara, if you could roll me a reason plus medicine as you work with the sample that I'm assuming Matic would have beamed to you by this point.
Sure. I will do those testing while I'm doing the other testing.
Okay.
Said reason and science, reason and medicine.
I would think medicine would be the better way for you to approach it, because you're coming at this as a doctor perspective rather than a scientist.
Okay, and I know I don't have any focuses.
Difficulty here will be a 2. Okay. I'm going to let that succeed at cost, but of course that does give me more threat.
Either that, or I was going to ask if the ship could assist, being I'm using the ship's sensors.
You know what? Let's do that. Let's have the ship assist. We'll say computers and medicine for the ship.
Okay.
And we'll flavor that as you checking every known substance on record against this goo. There you go. You got what you need.
Sweet.
So yeah, you work with the computer churns and churns and churns, and eventually it gives you a substance. And this substance is very similar to almost like a nanite swarm. It is a unknown, it is a swarm of little nanobots of unknown origin. Though, this has been encountered before, no one's really figured out where these things started to come from. What's their origin. And this substance has dated all the way back to Kirk's initial mission. So this is something that is just sort of accepted as a plague or a nuisance to spacefaring cultures. The good news is that there is a way to get rid of it. It just simply involves a little bit of radiation treatment, non-fatal and not really harmful to humanoids. But it is a very lengthy procedure in that in order to clean a area as large as the platform would take somewhere on the order of about an hour of constant emission from the deflector array.
Okay. I will I will call back to Matic. Lieutenant Vara to Commander Matic.
Matic here.
Are you familiar with the fabled Kirk goo or nanobot goo?
If it matters, I'm going to give it the name of the Dahara.
Okay. Are you familiar with something called the Dahara?
I've sure that it's come across my desk at the Institute at some point or another.
Yeah,
Why?
I mean, you as even just a regular engineer would know immediately what Dahara is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had to deal with it before. What's up? Why?
That is currently what is covering Chief 10.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's not going to be terribly harmful to him. He might have a rash, so unfortunately his skin will probably turn purple because instead of red it'll go purple because he's blue. But it's easily treatable. So when you guys get back, we can treat it.
Has it been affected by the Rigelian flu at all, or is it possible that it could make the Rigelian flu the way that it is currently on the planet?
That's a good question, GM.
If we beam over a sample to Lieutenant Junior Good Vara, she might be able to analyze it for trace elements of biological materials such as the flu.
Right. I'll tell you what. You give me threat since you have no venom, and I'll let you ask that question.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
So.
Okay, wait. How much threat? Just so we're aware.
Just the one.
Okay.
So Vara, what you're going to find is that the Dahara is not in any way related to the plague of Rigelian fever. Almost like the Dahara and the fever are two separate instances that just happen to be temporally close.
Okay, so like the Dahara didn't like weaken any filters or anything and allow the flu to get in?
Now that I would say you as a character would think as it could be the case, but out of character, it would take another threat to answer that question.
Okay, then I will just go with Vara having that hypothesis,
Okay.
without any actual factual backing. Um, Commander Matic, I think maybe the Dahara might have weakened the filters on the station. So whatever brought the fever to this system maybe got through that way.
Right, which whenever the Booney finishes its self decontamination, maybe we'll learn more from that.
Oh, that Commander Matic, I will be I'm gonna get right back to you. She'll end the communication, and then Lieutenant Vara to Commander Panek.
Bridge here.
Commander Panek, new information. I am.
I'm all ears, Commander or Lieutenant.
And she'll be, like you can hear over the communicator that she is feverishly typing. I am sending information up to the bridge to be sent to. Was it the Tormund system?
Yes.
The Tormund system and that freighter. That this is how they're going to get rid of a different possible problem that the freighter may not know it has on it.
The nanobots, correct?
Correct. And it should be very easy for them to handle, but to stop any other problems from happening or them taking the Dahara from one system to another, they might want to do it.
I will contact them immediately. I am receiving the information now. Thank you, Lieutenant.
You're welcome, Commander, and I'm still working on the samples of the treatment for the fever, as well as trying to help Commander Matic and Chief Tin and a problem they are having.
A problem they are having?
Yes, it's the reason I just sent all that information to you, because they found it on that platform or station or whatever it is.
Do they require assistance?
As of right now, no, other than possibly a transporter in a few minutes.
I will keep such a line open. Commander Ty, establish transporter lock on Mr. Matic and Mr. Tin.
Yes, sir.
As well as establish communications with the SS Boomy and the Tormund government.
Opening hailing frequencies now.
So Tormund government doesn't respond, but you do get the Rigelian captain again, and he says, this is not entirely unwelcome, but what do I owe the pleasure?
Pardon my bearing more bad news to you, Captain, but a recent discovery with our investigation into the Rigelian fever outbreak, we've discovered a particularly nasty nanobot called, what was the name of it?
The Dahara.
The Dahara. We are currently sending you the specifications of its design now. We believe it may be aboard your ship and involved with the outbreak of the Rigelian fever. We found it aboard the orbital station you departed. It is the reason for its malfunction. It has been eating through the conduits there. I suggest you begin an immediate scan of your systems. The Tormund government is currently not answering our hails, but it is imperative that this information finds its way to them as soon as possible. Can I entrust you to seek out their communication with them?
Sure, I can certainly pass along a message, but I think you already know that the Tormund are a very headstrong people. They might not listen.
Stubbornness will lead us to nothing but more outbreaks and more contamination of other worlds, including Federation and other ones of other empires and governments. We seek to prevent such a thing. Make any attempts you can to pass this information to them and convince them that this is a very serious threat. We will continue to hail them, of course, but please keep me updated. Do you
Sure.
require any assistance in dealing with these nanobots?
No, my chief engineer is just now telling me that he knows exactly how to get rid of the damn bugs, so I think we're good here.
All right. Thank you for your cooperation. Ophion out.
All right. So it is at this point that I sort of leave the floor open to you guys as players, because even in a narrative sense, once you sterilize the station, it is going to be a fairly trivial manner to get the platform back up in working order. And since you got here so quickly, the outbreak is going to be contained, even with the reduced Ritalin. So I kind of just open the floor for you guys to do any scenes you guys want to do before you head back to Starbase 214.
Is there any way that Vara can fix the other 2/3 of that crate to give them more supplies of the vaccination?
I would say if you had ore processing capability, you could, but since I know the Ophion doesn't, no.
Okay.
Do they have ore processing on the planet?
That's a good question. Let's flip
I
a
mean,
coin.
because it would be, I mean, if they do,
What's the
Vara
name of
can
the
easily
starbase?
Vara can easily just tell them, like, here's how you do it, here's how to do everything like that. I'm going off of her focus of infectious diseases that she would know, like, how to synthesize the vaccination.
Right. Well, I got a heads. So yeah, let's say that though it's very minimal, the Penthara 4 colony does have capabilities to process ore and refinement and distillation.
Sweet. So, after transporting down the good supply, she'll
Mhm.
transport the bad supply down in a clearly marked different container,
Mhm.
with instructions on exactly how to make it work.
Okay. That all happens. All right.
How hard is it for Beckett and Tin to fix the station and get the EPS conduits going?
You
I
mean
didn't know
Tin and
Beckett was
Matic?
fixing his
Tin and
station.
Matic, yeah.
Yeah. I would say it maybe takes you a combined effort of about 3.5 hours to get things back up and running. That's a good thing too, because literally the second, or probably the minute would be a better time window. Probably within the minute of you restoring the platform to its full functionality, the elevator immediately starts to go back down to pick up a new load.
That was perfect timing. This goose sting's got some in my eye. Make a note. Don't get it in the eye.
Just go see Vara. Just go see Vara.
When I'm finished
Three,
working.
no. It's been 3 goddamn hours. Go see Vara. I will finish up here.
It's I was raised in stations and starships. This is not the first time I've been covered with horrible goo.
Phrasing.
This is a weekday.
Oh, you.
I'm not an officer. I work for a living. I'll go to the
Saying,
doctor when my job is done.
you're saying I don't work for a living? I probably have more reprimands on my record than you do, Chief.
That's because I don't get caught.
Ooh.
And it's kind of hard not to get caught whenever you have temporal investigations looking at your every move.
They know what you did wrong before you did it.
Yep.
No, I have no reprimands because I am by the book and get the job done. Stepping out of line's how things gets broken in the first place. Pass me that spanner.
All right. I'll be on the. I'll be dealing with their air filtration system.
All right. So, you do the engineer thing. You work together as much as engineers can in any environment. All right. Back on Gamma section of the Ophion. Panek, Ty, did you guys want to get anything out of the way?
Just normal update reports, making sure my crew's doing all right.
Okay. Yeah. After the initial excitement, everything seems to be coming in fine. No issues to be had.
How about Penthara 4? What's their situation like?
They're distributing the cure. It's taking a little bit of time because obviously, it's a colony. It's not a starship. They can't just pipe the cure into the air filtration systems. But the prognosis is that they will be able to have this this outbreak contained within probably about a week's time.
I'll give them our best wishes in the Vulcan sense, whatever. Apologize that we couldn't do more for their orbital station, of course. And say we will put in a request with back at Starbase 241 to maybe send out an engineering shipment to them.
Okay.
And if there's nothing else, I'll have Wine take us back into warp, heading back for the base.
Okay. So, again, there's a small window of opportunity, but if no one has anything, what's going to happen is you all arrive back at Starbase 214, and you're no worse for the wear. You've accomplished your little transportation mission, and possibly help stop a couple of outbreaks. Such as the timing, and this is me again skipping ahead a little bit, so if someone had a scene, please feel free to interrupt. But, you guys spend the next 3 weeks kind of waiting on beta section of Ophion to be finished, and probably about that Friday, the beta section of the Ophion is ready, and you guys could attempt reassembling the ship.
To quote someone from a different sci-fi genre, hell, it's about time.
All right. Well, I only need one roll here to determine, how well you do. And yeah, Beckett, I do see you. We'll deal with that in a moment. As I scramble to find where I put the MVAM rules. Locke, do you remember what they were off the top of the head? Because I know it's a con, and I know it involves structure, but I don't remember past that.
Not too mad. Seems like a con. Seems like a pilot thing almost.
Wasn't there something on the Ophion sheet? Let's see.
No, I think the Ophion sheet literally just says, look at Locke's homebrew. All right, here it is. Separating or reassembling the ship is a control plus con with difficulty 2. Assisted by the ship's computer plus con. Okay. So Sona will be the prime lead on this, unless someone really wants to do it themselves. And then you just need to roll the ship.
I will have you know, you actually, on the Ophion sheet, you have the whole thing printed out with what tasks and difficulty for it.
Huh. Well, it must be better than the sheet I have, because the actual sheet I have on my computer says, look at the homebrew. All right, well, you got the 2 successes you need, so you don't even need to roll for the computer or for the ship. So, sure enough, outside of Starbase 214, we see the USS Ophion reassemble itself, and there is kind of a loud, well, not a loud, but a very loud, or a, like, you know how there's that specific sound when the Enterprise D hooked back together? Same kind of sound here, except it's happening in 2 ways, both the top and bottom of beta section. But the ship kind of clicks back together. There's a momentary pause as systems reroute through everything, and then there is the sound of power just coming to the life around the ship. And you guys are whole once more.
Mm-hmm. Commander Panek.
Panek here.
Has all crew reported back from their shore leave?
Indeed, Captain. none worse to wear, although it's my understanding that Chieftain will be somewhat irritable and itchy for a week.
That is disappointing, but being irritable and itchy should not stand in the way of one's duties.
Indeed.
Lieutenant Sona,
Yes, sir.
now that we're all in one piece, let's take this ship forward. Set a course for deep space Daedalus and engage. Warp 8.
Understood, sir. And yeah, I think the last scene we're going to handle then, as the Ophion sort of jumps to warp away towards DSD, is Beckett, you wanted to go over a potential crew that you were taking with you. Who would you like to discuss that with?
The captain, obviously,
Mhm.
and Commander Panek in maybe the captain's ready room.
Okay, yeah, sure. Just give me a moment to juggle some tokens here.
Or the conference room, whichever one you come to first.
I think if we're
they're
going to be
literally
dealing
right
with
next
them,
to each other.
Okay.
I just have to find where I put your token on the GM layer. There it is. All right. And ready room.
Well,
crew reassignment.
yeah. I had already kind of talked to Commander Panek about the possibility of taking some of the crew from the Ophion. This is for a couple of reasons. One is part of the main crewing of the Lysithia is going to be the best and the brightest, and from what I'm told, for the most part, a younger crew, except for, well, me. For that, there are 7 people that I would like to transfer from the Ophion to the Lysithia.
Captain sort of braces himself just in case because he doesn't want to doesn't want to let anyone go, but at the same, he just sort of braces himself. Okay, let's see them.
He will hand a pad to both of them. Starting at the most senior of the crew will be Lieutenant Commander Maddock. As I'm told right now, the Lysithia does not have a chief engineer. Maddock, I know, was probably sent to us to find out any and all information that we had garnered from the Andromeda Galaxy. So why not give him a first-hand look?
I'm just go. Well, I'm as helpful as he has been on the Ophion. His position has felt a little superfluous at times. So yes, if he can be of more use to you on your new posting, but be aware that he will probably want to take Sienna with him. So make sure that you plan accordingly.
I've already been thinking about that, as well as to kind of go a little out of order. I'm going to keep the pair together and also take Senior Chief Highlong.
Well, stellar cartography is going to be a burgeoning field in the Andromeda Galaxy. We know so little about it, and I see her excelling in that position.
And with both of them, also comes a little bit more of a martial mindset and abilities. Not knowing what's going to be there and needing people that can actually mix it up, as it were, is something that I think would be great. As well as I'm sure the Senior Chief would love a chance to chart places nobody's ever been to.
Be careful with cultivating too many people with a similar mindset, Captain.
Could you spell out the name of the ship?
Yeah, 1 second.
I understand that, Captain, and that's part of the reason I am told that I am not getting to pick my executive officer. I'm sure you know what that feels like.
Absolutely. I'm just going to look at Panek and smirk ever so slightly.
Next is somebody who's been, who, when we've separated the ship, has always been very good and at my right hand, and that'll be Lieutenant Lindholm. Along
Very
with
well.
Lieutenant Lindholm, I feel that one of our, as some of the crew have started calling them, the Ophion Orphans. And I'm going to take our friend Sparja. And between the two of them, they're going to handle tactical and security for the ship.
That's you're placing a lot of trust into a group of individuals who have only known humans and the Federation for less than a year.
Oh, well, then the next two option, or the next two, the next two names, well, I'm going to take both of the Scorpies.
I'm just going to raise an eyebrow. I reiterate my point, but as but
Well,
from what I've seen with the Luna class, their design allows for wider species, so the Scorpy will be more at home in that environment, anyways.
that is also my thinking, and plus it'll give the other people in the departments that they have both excelled at a different type of mindset than just Starfleet strict, rigid mindset on a lot of things. The last name, an option was given to me that I'm not going to take, which is I need a navigator and I need a pilot. And one of the options that was suggested to me was Sona, because she would fit the bill of everything that this mission and this task is at hand. But I feel that she has started to develop a family with the crew of this ship, and I'm not going to split that up. Which is another reason that our good friend Zenixia was another name that was floating around in my head, but I feel she is the same way. Plus, I don't want to take uh, why am I pulling blank? I don't want to take Murthrin's new best friend away from him.
Yes. Do you realize how much how more confident he is with her around?
I do, and that's I don't know if it is a telepathic thing or just a comfortability, but I would love to have her for her insight, but I really think that I don't want to split those up. So as far as a navigator and a pilot go, I think I'm going to take and then eventually promote Ensign Lotus. I feel she also fulfills the idea behind this mission.
She can be
Yes.
quite headstrong, Captain. But I find that when you have someone to bang your head against, sometimes good ideas get knocked out.
Which is part of the reason that I feel Matic and Hailong and Lotus will be a good sounding board, but also bring different perspectives to my own, and will be maybe, let's say, the punch to the jaw that I might need.
Very well.
Of course, you can deny any of the transfers you would like if you feel that you need them on the Ophion, and I will find other crew members. But I haven't officially sent this off yet. I wanted to talk with the two of you first.
Captain, I don't see anything glaring amiss with your suggestions. Commander?
Yes, Captain?
Do you have any objections or suggestions?
He's made fine choices, and while the air workload will miss them, and we will not. I believe we will be able to maintain their current performance rate with them gone. I just have to work with the remaining crew harder to get them into fill the shoes that will be gone.
That's the spirit, Commander. Captain, I officially approve all of your requests.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you also for approving my my promotion recommendation of now Lieutenant Vara. I have not told her yet that I'm leaving, and apparently Scuttlebutt has not gotten to her yet. So I will inform her that, with your blessing, that she is going to take over as Chief Medical Officer.
Of course. Would you once we reach Deep Space Daedalus, would you prefer a going away party, or are you partied out?
um, if it is the will of my captain and the crew of my ship, then I will make sure that I am ready to party.
Very well. It's a good thing I've managed to get some Romulan ale. I mean, some Bolian synthahol from Starbase 214 on our way out.
And I thank you for everything that we've been through, and for all the insight that you've given me. I don't feel that I would be up for this promotion or this position without the two of you as part of the command staff that I'm a part of.
Well, I can only hope that you will find as dependable people in your new role as I have been blessed with.
Thank you, Captain.
No, thank you.
And that's it. That's all I had, anyways.
Yeah, I'll dismiss them and go about doing the official paperwork for transfers and stuff.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any other scenes, or shall this be where we end the session?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So again, as I seem to like to do, listening to past recordings, we kind of again see an external shot of the Ophion just sort of soaring gracefully at warp. And yeah, that's where we're going to end the session. I think what I have to say to the players is going to have to happen off screen. So let me go ahead and end the stream and the recording. So those of you on Twitch and on YouTube, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye bye.